Hello students, welcome to this video lecture unit 4, Role of Innovation in Social Entrepreneurship. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss what is innovation, what is creativity and what is invention and the link among all these three things. So we will discuss one by one. Let us start with creativity. So what is creativity? Creativity, of course, it's the ability to generate new and original ideas. It's about thinking differently or imagining something that doesn't yet exist, something new, entirely new, which is not at all there in the universe, something different from others, something unique. So, in social entrepreneurship, what is creativity? A social entrepreneur must come up with a new idea to solve a social problem in a unique way, in a different manner. What is the example now? An entrepreneur imagines using a discarded plastic waste to build low-cost housing for slum dwellers, right? So it addresses this creative idea. It is very, very novel. It addresses two issues at once. What is that? One is pollution. That is plastic waste. Another one is constructing a house for slum dwellers at a very low cost. So this is creativity. Then what is innovation? Innovation is about putting creative ideas into practice to create a real value. Now he has got an idea to use the plastic waste to construct a new house, but he has to put that into an idea. He has to construct a house. So that is innovation. It is the implementation of those creative ideas in a way that works and creates impact. So that should create an impact also. Yes. So in social entrepreneurship, what is innovation? Innovation is when the entrepreneur actually builds those houses, finds ways to process the plastic, trains local workers, and scales up the project sustainably. Example, the same entrepreneur starts a venture, partners with local municipalities, creates plastic processing units, and builds durable, affordable homes for thousands. So that's innovation, turning a creative idea into a working solution with social impact. So that is innovation. So next one is, in a nutshell, what is that? Aspect. What it is? Creativity is idea generation, innovation is idea implementation. You should not stop with just generating an idea. You have to turn that idea into a innovation and you have to implement that. Nature, conceptual, and this is practical. Focus, originality, something unique, something different, it does not exist. And focus is it should be useful and it should create an impact, right? So everybody should be benefited out of that idea. Example in social entrepreneurship, thinking of using banana fiber to make sanitary pads. Okay, this is something new. And setting up a system to produce and distribute banana fiber pads to rural women. That is innovation. Yes. Next one is the creation of new products or services, including programs or projects that blurs the line between creativity and innovation. That is okay. The line is very, very thin between creativity and innovation in theory, but actually creativity and innovation are distinct. They are not the same. Creativity is just imagining. We are just imagining about new things, new possibilities. But innovation is about implementing those ideas into real world solutions. We should not stop with our dream or we should not stop with our imagination. We have to turn those dreams and imaginations to reality. That is innovation. But in practice, especially when creating new products, services, programs, or projects, the two often blend together. So it blurs the line between creativity and innovation. Why the line blurs? Okay. So when someone creates a new project or service, they are usually thinking creatively to come up with something original and applying that idea in a practical way to meet the real need. So somebody is coming out with a new idea. They didn't stop with that. They are also applying that idea in a practical way to meet some societal demands, to real needs. So the process becomes both creative and innovative also. So it's hard to separate one from the other, but actually they are two different things, not the same. The creation of new products, services, programs, projects often blurs the line between creativity and innovation. While creativity involves generating original ideas and innovation refers to the practical implementation of those ideas, in practice, these two processes frequently overlap. That is why the line blurs. In social entrepreneurship, for example, developing a new program to address youth unemployment may begin with a creative idea. So, such as mobile app to connect young people with local work opportunities, job opportunities. This is your imagination. This is your idea, right? Now you have to change this or you have to implement that. Then only it becomes an innovation. So, however, turning that idea into a functioning service by designing the app, partnering with businesses, you need to partner with local people and ensuring accessibility. It should be accessible to everybody. That involves innovation. Thus, when entrepreneurs create something new to solve real world problems, creativity and innovation become deeply intertwined, making it difficult to separate where one ends and the other begins. Okay, so where the creativity ends, the innovation starts, right? Example, let's say a social entrepreneur sees a problem, youth unemployment in urban areas. So, what is creativity here? They come up with an idea. So, they want to start a mobile app that connects unemployed youth with short term gigs offered by local businesses. So, what is the innovation? This is the idea. Innovation, they have to develop the app, they have to test it in communities, they have to form a partnership alliance with job providers and make it accessible even for low income users. So, the creation of the app, a new service, required creative thinking but also innovative execution. So, we cannot say where creativity ends here and innovation begins. So, the lines blur. Okay. So, what is the key insight? When you are creating something new, especially in the context of solving real world problems, creativity feeds innovation and innovation brings creativity to life. This is especially true in social entrepreneurship, where solving complex problems often requires both imagination and action simultaneously. So, that is the takeaway. And what is invention here? We spoke about creativity, we spoke about innovation, the link between creativity and innovation, where it blurs. Now, what is invention? Innovation is the implementation of those inventions. Creativity is an idea. Invention, we have to implement that. Innovation is also implementation of invention, social entrepreneurship, right? So, in the context of social entrepreneurship, invention refers to a new idea, a new method or product that could help solve a social problem. Innovation, then, is the process of applying that invention in real life to create a positive social impact. How it works? The invention, that is the breakthrough idea. Okay. Then innovation, making that idea work in the real world sustainably and at scale. Okay. Scalability should be there. So, example, invention state, creative. A social entrepreneur invents a low-cost filter made from natural materials that can purify dirty water. A great idea for clean drinking water in rural areas. Innovation stage, that is the implementation stage. The entrepreneur sets up a local manufacturing units to produce the filters. He trains the community women, the local women, to distribute them, creating an employment for that particular locality area. The person also works with NGOs and local governments, administrations to subsidize and spread the solution to everybody. Educates people about safe water practices, results. So, thousands of families now have access to clean water and local women have steady income. This is innovation in action. So, invention is the first stage. Key takeaway. What is the key takeaway here? Invention is the what, the idea. Innovation is how the idea is being implemented, the actual execution and delivery of that idea to solve real problems. In social entrepreneurship, innovation turns compassion into action by bringing meaningful, sustainable solutions to those who need them most. So, actually, entrepreneurs are innovators, but they are not always inventors. Explained, right? So, entrepreneurs are often praised for bringing new ideas to life, but that doesn't always mean they create those ideas from scratch. Instead, they are typically innovators, which means they find new ways to use existing ideas, products, or technologies to solve problems or meet needs. So, what this means? Inventors create something entirely new, might be a product, or might be a new technology, or a process that never existed before, something unique, something different, something first of its type, right? So, entrepreneurs may use those inventions, or other existing tools in a new way to solve problems, create businesses, or bring value to society. So, example, not an inventor. Okay, Muhammad Yunus, Grameen Bank, he is not an inventor. He did not invent microfinance or the concept of lending money that has been there for so many centuries, right? But an innovator. He innovated by applying small loans in a new way, offering microcredit to poor women in rural Bangladesh who had no access to banks. He built the Grameen Bank model. He created a sustainable business model. He empowered millions and inspired global change. He didn't invent the idea of lending, but he innovated its use to solve poverty. So that is innovation. In a nutshell, creativity, that ability to generate original and imaginative ideas. It's about thinking differently or seeing the world in new ways. Doesn't need to result in something physical or practical. Example, thinking of a way to purify water using natural materials like sand and charcoal. Invention, the creation of something that did not exist before, a product, a method, a process. It's a practical implementation of a creative idea which involves technical skills or problem solving. Example, actually designing and building the first water purification device using your creative concept, the first model, right? The first prototype, we can say. Innovation, the improvement, the adaptation, or successful application of inventions or existing ideas to create value. It can be new or improved, but it must be useful and adopted by users. It should have an impact, focuses on impact, its usefulness, and market or social value. Example, so mass producing the water purifier at a low cost and distributing it to rural areas, improving access to clean water. So that is innovation. So creativity is your idea, your mental, it is there in your mind, and then you are producing the first prototype based on your idea, your imagination. Then you are changing it, you are adapting it, okay, you are refining it, and you are improving it. Finally, you are producing it to create an impact in the society, implementing the idea. That is innovation. So, summary concept, what it is: creativity, generating ideas; invention, making something new; innovation, applying these ideas to create value; focus, imagination and originality; development of new solutions; implementation and impact, innovation. That is, what is the outcome? Thoughts, your expressions, your concepts. Invention, what is the outcome? Product, method, technologies. Innovation, scaling out, social or economic change, right? Example, thinking of a new health app idea, you are just thinking. Next one is you are building the app, that is the invention stage, and innovation stage is the launching app and gaining users. So this is a summary. This is the difference between creativity, invention and innovation. So let us talk about various types of innovations in social entrepreneurship. First thing is process innovation. So it is a new process for producing or delivering an existing product, service, program, or project. That is known as process innovation. This type of innovation doesn't change what is being offered, but improves how it is created or delivered, making it more efficient, cost effective, accessible, or scalable. In the context of social entrepreneurship, process innovation can have a huge impact. For example, a non-profit organization that distributes food to low-income communities might introduce a digital inventory and distribution system. While the product, food aid, remains the same, the new process ensures faster delivery, reduces waste, and reaches more people. This kind of innovation helps maximize impact by refining operations and enhancing the reach and sustainability of existing solutions. So the product will be the same, only the process will be different. Next one is market innovation. So delivering an existing product, service, program, or project to a new or a previously underserved market is known as market innovation or market expansion innovation in social entrepreneurship. This type of innovation doesn't involve creating a new product, but instead focuses on reaching new audiences who previously didn't have access to it. So new market. Okay. So it involves understanding the unique needs, barriers, and context of these new markets, and then adapting the delivery, pricing, communication, or distribution methods accordingly. In social entrepreneurship, this can be transformative. For instance, a solar lantern company that originally sells to urban customers might innovate by introducing a pay-as-you-go model to reach rural off-grid communities that cannot afford the upfront cost. Pay-as-you-go means, okay, you have to pay for the thing which you have used, unit you have consumed, electricity you have consumed. So that is pay-as-you-go. Although the product itself remains the same, the way it's delivered and financed is adjusted to serve a new population, solving issues of affordability and accessibility. This type of innovation helps close the gap between those who have access to solutions and those who don't. Okay? So, making a major contribution to equity, inclusion, and social impact. Resource innovation. Utilizing a new source of labor or other production inputs is a type of resource innovation. It involves finding alternative or previously untapped resources such as labor. We might use new raw materials or introduce new technology, or we might partner with some new companies, alliance, to produce or deliver goods and services more efficiently, affordably, or sustainably. This doesn't always mean introducing new products, but rather improving the inputs used in creating existing ones. In a social entrepreneurship, this often takes a socially inclusive approach. For example, a social enterprise might train and employ persons with disabilities, refugees, or marginalized women as part of its workforce. While the product or service remains the same, the innovation lies in using a new socially beneficial source of labor. Similarly, using agricultural waste as a raw material for packaging instead of plastic is another form of resource innovation. This approach not only reduces costs or environmental impact, but also often creates new opportunities for empowerment and sustainability. Next one is structure innovation. So, implementing a new organizational or industrial structure. This is also a form of innovation that involves changing the way an organization looks or sector is structured and operates. So, this could be anything right from adopting a new management style or decentralized decision making, restructuring teams, or even creating entirely a new ownership or collaboration models. In social entrepreneurship, such innovation often aims to increase efficiency, transparency, inclusivity, or social impact. For example, social enterprises often use innovative structures that differ from traditional businesses or non-profits. For example, Grameen Bank, pioneered by Muhammad Yunus, he introduced a group lending model where small groups of women borrowers support each other and ensure repayment collectively. This new organizational structure helped reduce risk and empowered communities. Some model enterprises adopt flat organizational structures where decision making is decentralized. This fosters employee ownership, inclusion, and empowerment, especially in grassroots level initiatives. Another example is the rise of hybrid organizations that blend for profit and non profit elements, allowing them to generate revenue while still pursuing a social mission. This structure enables them to attract both philanthropic support and investment capital. Industry-wide innovation. So, structural innovation can also happen at the industry level, such as when multiple organizations form a cooperative or network model to tackle large-scale issues. For example, agricultural cooperatives in developing countries allow small farmers to pool resources, share equipment, and negotiate better prices, reshaping the structure of rural farming economies. So, what's the key impact? They implement a new organizational or industrial structure that can improve internal efficiency, increase participation and accountability, encourage innovation at all levels, better align with organization's operations with its social mission. It's not about what the organization does, but how it is set up to do it better. So, implementing new ways of engaging customers or target beneficiaries. How we are going to engage the target audience. This type of innovation focuses on creating new methods or strategies for interacting with customers, clients, or beneficiaries. Retain the customers. It's about enhancing communication, involvement, and relationships with the people who matter most to your organization, whether they are consumers, users, or beneficiaries of a social enterprise's services. Engaging stakeholders in innovative ways can lead to greater impact, loyalty, and sustainability. In the context of social entrepreneurship, engaging target beneficiaries in new ways is crucial because it directly affects the effectiveness of a social enterprise's mission. This innovation isn't just about offering products or services, it's about creating deeper, more meaningful connections that enhance both the social impact and the long term success of the venture. So, next one is example interactive mobile platforms, a social enterprise that provides education to marginalized communities might implement a mobile based learning platform to engage users. By incorporating gamification, social sharing, and peer to peer support, the platform can create a more engaging learning experience, offer an engaging learning experience. So, beneficiaries who may not have had access to traditional education could engage in real time learning, participate in discussions, and track their progress. This innovative way of engaging students can enhance learning outcomes and increase access to education. Next one is community involvement. A social enterprise focused on improving public health in rural areas might use community health workers as ambassadors. These workers can engage local populations by listening to their needs, conducting surveys, and organizing local health events. So, this community driven approach not only improves service delivery but also fosters trust and ensures that the interventions are relevant and culturally appropriate. Next one is example. A social enterprise focused on improving public health in rural areas might use community health workers as ambassadors. These workers can engage local populations by listening to their needs, conducting surveys, and organizing local health events. This community driven approach not only improves service delivery but also fosters trust and ensures that the interventions are relevant and culturally appropriate. Key benefits of this type of innovation: empowerment. Engaging beneficiaries in the development or delivery of products and services can empower them, giving them a sense of ownership and control over the solutions that affect their lives. So, customization. So, engaging customers or beneficiaries in innovative ways allows for tailored solutions that better meet the needs of specific communities or individuals. They can tell this might work or this might not work. Feedback loop. So, new methods of engagement, such as through service, social media, or community consultations, create a feedback loop that allows social enterprises to adapt and improve their offerings continuously. Scalability. By establishing effective channels of communication and engagement, social enterprises can scale their impact and reach wider audiences. So, this form of innovation is critical for ensuring that products, services, or programs are not just created but are effectively received, utilized, and appreciated by the people they are designed to help. The deeper the engagement, the greater the potential for creating lasting change. Next one is innovation in funding. The utilization of new funding models is a type of financial innovation that refers to the adoption of novel methods or approaches to secure the financial resources needed to start, sustain, or scale a social enterprise. This innovation is particularly important for social entrepreneurs as traditional funding sources such as grants, donations, or bank loans may not always be sufficient, sometimes not available or accessible to support innovative solutions that address complex problems. New funding models, they focus on leveraging alternative financial mechanisms, including impact investing, crowdfunding, social impact bonds, microfinance, or blended finance. These models provide flexibility, help align investors' financial returns with social outcomes, and often encourage partnerships between social enterprises, the private sector, and the public sector. They also make it possible for social entrepreneurs to attract funds from a broader range of sources, including individuals, organizations, and institutions that might not traditionally engage in funding social ventures. Crowdfunding. Crowdfunding platforms like Kickstarter or Indiegogo allow social enterprises to raise small amounts of money from a large number of people via the internet. This model is particularly useful for entrepreneurs with innovative ideas that appeal to a wide audience but may not have access to traditional funding sources. For example, a social enterprise focused on water purification in developing countries might use crowdfunding to raise funds from global supporters who are passionate about providing clean water to underserved communities. Next one is impact investing. Impact investors provide capital to businesses and social enterprises that aim to generate both financial returns and positive social or environmental impact. Unlike traditional investors who focus solely on profit, impact investors are motivated by the potential for social change and sustainable development. For instance, a social enterprise focused on clean energy may receive funding from impact investors who believe in both the financial viability and environmental benefits of the project. Next one is SIBs, that is social impact bonds. They are a form of pay for success financing where private investors provide funding to social enterprises or non-profits to implement programs that aim to achieve specific social outcomes. The government or other stakeholders repay the investors only if the program meets the agreed upon goals, such as improving public health or reducing crime. This model shifts the financial risk from public funds to private investors and ensures that funding is tied directly to measurable outcomes. For example, a SID could fund a program aimed at reducing homelessness, with the government repaying the investors if the program successfully lowers the number of homeless individuals, at least from 100 to 50, quantifiable. Blended finance. So, blended finance combines public, private, and philanthropic capital to fund development projects that are expected to generate both social impact and financial returns. This model often involves a mix of concessional funding, such as government grants or donations, and a non concessional funding, such as private investments. For example, a blended finance model might be used to support a large scale renewable energy project in a developing country, where governments or philanthropic organizations provide seed funding to mitigate risks while private investors supply the bulk of the capital. Next one is microfinance. Microfinance is a financial innovation that allows individuals in developing countries to access small loans, microloans, for starting businesses or improving their livelihoods. These loans are often made to individuals who don't have access to traditional banking services, such as women or rural entrepreneurs. Microfinance institutions serve as intermediaries, providing loans, training, and support to small scale entrepreneurs. Grameen Bank is a prime example of this funding model, where small loans have helped lift millions of people out of poverty. Accessibility. So, these new funding models enable social entrepreneurs to access funding that might otherwise be out of reach through traditional channels. So, aligning financial and social goals. So, new funding models allow investors and social entrepreneurs to align their financial returns with social outcomes, ensuring that funding directly contributes to solving social issues. Scalability. They provide the capital needed to scale innovative solutions and extend their reach to a larger audience, increasing the impact of the enterprise. Flexibility. These models offer creative financial solutions tailored to the unique needs of social ventures, allowing them to experiment and innovate in ways that traditional funding might not. So, utilizing new funding models enable enterprises to diversify their revenue streams, reduce dependency on traditional funding sources, and ensure sustainability while achieving their social missions. These models not only empower entrepreneurs to create positive change, but also invite investors to be a part of a larger, more inclusive solution to global challenges. Thank you.